What's up guys, it's your boy Honorable Good Luck again. I'm here once again to talk about what I love doing best. I'm here to express myself. I'm here to express my feelings about my ancestors, my people, my race, my culture, my country, and my nation, my world as a whole. You know, talking about the world generally, the globe. I love history actually, so whatever I'm going to be doing is purely history, you understand, So let's talk about Stephen Lawrence. Who is Stephen Lawrence? I know a lot of you might not know who Stephen Lawrence is. A lot of you might not know who Stephen Lawrence is, and a lot of you might have heard of Stephen Lawrence but don't know what actually happened to him. You might not know where he's from, you might not know the story behind what happened to him, and some of it is Stephen Lawrence you might be thinking about might be different from the one I'm about to say. So stay tuned and let's talk about what happened to Stephen Lawrence, the tale of Stephen Lawrence.
My son had a future, and they've taken that away. And I just feel as if they were laughing at us. There's nobody, I think, who looked to pacify me. Nobody could tell me no. I presume they could, but I wouldn't accept it.
If I may ask you, what if you sent your child to the mall and he never returns? Or you take your child to school and you get a call that your child is no longer existing? How would you feel? How would you feel if you heard that your child went to the soccer pitch to play football and he was attacked by some guys and he got killed? What would be your reaction? Or how would you feel if your son or your daughter went to the pool to swim and you heard he got drowned? What would be your reaction? Sad, right? Pathetic, right? And a lot of us we've lost our loved ones, our friends, our family members, But come to think of it, life still goes on. But lesson must be learned from whatever has happened. Now let's talk about Stephen Lawrence. Stephen Lawrence, on that fateful day, was with his friend on the street. They were waiting for a bus to come pick them up. I don't know where they were going to, I don't know where they were going to go. Lawrence and his friend were going out, but before we could say Jesus is Lord, before we could say Jack Robinson, boom, they were attacked by 5 different guys. 5 white guys to be precise. I'm sorry to use that language. 5 white guys. And I don't really know what happened to Stephen Lawrence's friend, but we are emphasizing on Stephen Lawrence currently. And realize that those 5 white guys stabbed Lawrence. Stabbed him at his chest. Was stabbed twice at his chest. Now I can't really say if it's at the left hand side or the right hand side, but regardless, he was stabbed twice, and the heart is around the chest region. So let's say something might have happened to his heart, who knows? But that didn't limit or stop Lawrence, or let's call him Stephen. Sorry, that didn't stop Stephen. He stood up after being stabbed. He stood up. He tried running. I think he ran for about 13 kilometers or so. Tried running to save himself. But at the end of the day, he died. Yeah, he died. The funniest part is a lot of people were there watching what happened, but they didn't say a word. A lot of people saw what happened, but they didn't say a word. Just after the whole incident happened, they then started calling the police to come and intervene, to come and see what happened. Well, who knows the reason why they did that? Why they didn't say anything, or why they didn't act during the process? Who knows? Was it because they were scared? Was it because they loved what happened, or was it because they didn't like what happened? I also don't know, but I'm just trying to tell you that people were there when this thing happened, and just after the incident happened, they called the police, and the police came. But the shocking news is the police didn't act on this thing. The police didn't act on it. They took it. They weren't really serious with this issue. Do you understand that? This was something that sparked and got Stephen's parents angry. Neville and Dorrell, Lawrence and Lawrence got them angry, and they took it up. They kept trying to voice out because the police didn't act on it. In fact, they were almost sweeping the case under the carpet. Nobody was giving them listening ears. Why? Because they were blacks. Nobody was giving them listening ears, and it's something very traumatizing. Your child died, justice isn't served, and everybody's acting like nothing happened. No, bro, this can't happen. So that was what happened, and
My son's been murdered, and none of these officers, the justice system, the politicians, nobody cared. These idiots who have murdered my son had more rights than we did.
They had to act on it. So now, mind you, Stephen died in the year, he was murdered in the year 1993, but justice, he was murdered in the year 1993, but investigation started in the year 1999. Can you see the difference? Stephen died in the year 1993, and investigation started in 1999. That was because Stephen's parents didn't stop. They didn't stop fighting. They didn't stop pressing charge against the UK government. They did that, and the McPherson report actually made mention that the Metropolitan Police, who came, these were the police that came during the murder of Stephen. So it was realized that the Metropolitan Police were a group of organized racists. The group of organized racists. How would I put it? Let's say corporate racists, organized. You won't even realize that these guys are racist for real. But that's what they operate. So when it was realized that they were organized racists, they actually dealt with all of them. So justice started in the police force, the Metropolitan Police Force. Justice was served there, and most of them were dismissed, most of them were punished for that particular act they committed. Now, I said investigation started in the year 1999, and justice was served in the year, I think, 2012, yeah. So, Stephen was murdered in 1993, the investigation started in 1999, now justice was served 2012. So, the time frame from Stephen's death to when the investigation started was 6 years, right? If I'm not mistaken. 1993, 1994, 1995, 1996, 1997, 1998, 1999. That's 6 good years. 6 good years. That's when the investigation started. So the investigation started in 1999 and justice was served 2012. Let us count the difference. That's approximately 12 years. That's approximately 12 years. So 12 years plus 6 years. 18 years. 18 good years. It took the UK government 18 years to serve justice for someone that was murdered in cold blood for doing nothing. Just because he's a black boy. Just because he's on a black race. Well, I feel a lot of things are happening which most of us aren't aware about. We only know that racism exists. We are just aware that racism exists. But we really don't know what has happened in the past. Now bring it to your notice, Stephen Lawrence was also a victim of harm. Well, who knows? I think Stephen Lawrence was still alive. He might have been the biggest architect in the world today. Because I could remember one of his dreams was to become an architect. Who knows? He might have been the greatest architect in the world today. Who knows? Who knows? He might have been the first black prime minister we have in the UK. Who knows? Who knows? He might have been the one to bring out his family from the bondage of poverty. Who knows? He might have been the one to liberate his family. He might have been the one to push the black race out. Well, but life happened actually, and we have little or nothing to do about it because it has happened already. I'm going to mention the name of the guys that perpetrated that evil act. Number one, we have Neil Accords. Right? Now we have Jamie Accords. So Jamie is Neil's brother. Are you with me? We have Gary Dobson. We have David Norris. And then we have Luke Knight. So these are the 5 guys. Neil, Jamie, Gary, David, and Luke. So these 5 guys were known in South London community for perpetrating whatever. For violent racist behavior. South London to be precise, these guys were they were torn in people's skin. They were torn in people's skin, causing evil, causing havoc in southern part of London community. It came to my notice that despite being identified early by the witness and informants, none were convicted at that time due to police failure corruption, and lack of proper investigation. Now, come to think of it, it's not as if they could not investigate, but because Stephen was a black guy.
I remember this group of white boys on the other side of the road shouting, "She ran!" And I just saw this guy strike a downward blow, which I thought was a weapon.
Come on, Steve! Come on, just keep running!
He wasn't running properly, he was running lopsided, and he kept saying to me, Dwayne, like, what's happened to me, what's happened to me?
Just keep running with me, blood! Come on with me! No, Steve, man! Come on, please! I beg you, go!
Well, it wasn't until 2012, 19 years later, that Gary Dobson and David Norris were finally convicted of Stephen's murder. Gary and David were the two people that had actually stabbed Lawrence. So the other three, which happens to be Neil Accords, Jermaine Accords, and Luke Lentz, have never been convicted for the murder. Do you understand? So, and it's not as if these guys haven't done other things. They've done countless things. Terrorizing the black and Asians, looking for trouble, killing people. In fact, one of them even said something. I think that was David. David made a particular statement. Said, "I've done a black guy, and nothing can be done about it." Do you know what that means? I've killed the black guy. I've murdered the black guy. I've stabbed the black guy, and nothing can be done about it. In fact, a lot of witnesses said those guys, that's this 5 group of guys, were even demonstrating how they stabbed Stephen, how they stabbed him on his chest, and demonstrating it. You know, these are things we do, and we become scared that, oh, we've done something like this. These are things we do, and then we are scared. We're like, oh, I won't get caught. When I get caught, hope I won't land in jail. Hope I won't be locked up. But no, these guys were boasting away. They were proud about what they did. And that is to tell you, that is to say, whenever these guys walk, whenever they move with weapons, they move with sharp objects, knives, scissors, dagger, whatever. Are you with me? So these guys aren't even, they were not remorseful about what they did. They were proud about what they did. So whenever the Asian guys see them, I mean the Indian, the Vietnam, Afghanistan, the Pakistan, the Arab guys, you know, and we Africans, whenever we see them, we tend to be scared because they go around terrorizing people. They were known to carry knives and other weapons regularly, even before Stephen's murder. They were known. So many people already know them even before Stephen's murder. Several people, including members of the public and ex-girlfriend, claimed they had seen these boys boast about weapons and how they would cut or stab people. 2. Some described them as acting with sense of untouchable arrogance, knowing police rarely act against them. Knowing the police rarely act against them. So they know the police won't even do anything to them. That's why most of them, that's why these guys are actually doing what they've been doing. Well, nevertheless, it has happened and it has happened. Who knows? Let's assume Stephen was still alive. He might have been the first black British Prime Minister. Who knows? Let's say Stephen was still alive. He might have been the greatest architect in the world. Assuming he was still alive, he might have been the one to liberate his family from the bondage of poverty. Who knows? Because I could remember Stephen's greatest goal was to become an architect. And you know, come to think of it though, he was killed in a cold blood. Investigation started 6 years later. Why? Because his parents pushed for it. His parents sued the UK government. That's 2. 3. David and Gary, if I'm not mistaken, let me confirm. Yeah, David and Gary were convicted for killing Stephen, and in the year 2018 were sentenced to prison. See how long it took. But nevertheless, justice has been served, and this has served as an eye-opener to a lot of us about what has been happening in the UK, what is happening in the United States, what's happening in other European countries towards the black, and even what's happening in our own country. So God's going to keep helping us. We learn every day and we grow every day. Thank you very much for watching, for liking, and for taking your time to learn something new today. It's your boy Honorable. Please don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share this video to your loved ones, to people you think needs to learn about what has happened. Thank you very much. I remain on.